Hello again. So, got the rifle back. Got a phone call late yesterday that it was ready, that he'd fixed the problem. So this morning I went to town, went to the city, the big smoke, and picked it up, which was just a barreled action. And well, actually it was in pieces when I gave it to him. So what was the result? I'll tell you what the result was. I was under the impression that the shoulder on this barrel needed machining, and he said no, it didn't. The difference between this barrel and the stock standard barrel that was in it, the 24-inch trainer barrel that was in it, was 0.001 of a millimetre. So these guys have got it pretty close. In fact, he said that with this barrel, as far as headspace is concerned, it's right at the limit. You couldn't go any tighter. So obviously I haven't shot anything through it, but some of the ammunition with the thicker rims I might have to avoid. Definitely Ely was the one that I was having the problems with, the light primer strikes, so that shouldn't be a problem. But some of the ammunition with thicker rims, yeah, might be hard to close or might be hazardous to close. Now, so you might be asking, what was the problem? I'll tell you what the problem was. You know how people say trust your instincts, gut feeling? Well, the first gut feeling that I had, the first thing that came to my mind was the spring on this bolt has gone. And guess what? The spring on this bolt, which is the bolt out of it, had gone. Here it is. And John the gunsmith replaced it with a longer spring. I don't know where he got it from. He reckons he only had one hanging around, because I asked him for another one, a spare, and he said no, that was the only one I had. I'd give it to you, you know, but I haven't got it. Alright, so what I'll have to do is I'll probably Brownells, I would say. I'll go on their website and see if I can order some upgrade springs, because there are harder hitting springs that you can buy. I don't, you know what, because these springs haven't lasted very long at all. Yeah, not long at all, because when I started having trouble with that one, with light primer strikes, I went to this bolt, which is out of my 17 HMR. Now I've put bugger all rounds through it, and I decock these things when I store them. So that spring is not under tension when it's being stored. Well, guess what? So what's happened is, the spring in this one has gone, I've gone to use this one, and the spring in that one has gone, because I was getting light primer strikes from both bolts. So the chances of that, you know, I mean, what are the chances of that? That's what completely threw me, because that 17 HMR bolt, that spring should be okay, because like I said, I put bugger all rounds through it compared to this one. So that's what threw me. You see, if the spring hadn't gone in the 17 HMR bolt as well, I would have stopped having light primer strikes, and I would have gone, yep, the spring's gone in this one. But no, the same thing happened with both. So that just threw me out of whack, because the only change that's occurred with this rifle at that time was this barrel. So I'm thinking the headspace in this barrel is wrong, and that wasn't the case. So, like I said, what's the chances of the spring in both bolts going at the same time? It's pretty slim. You know, that is just like a 1 in a million. So anyway, I've got a much, and what I'll do is I'll take a picture of the primer strikes on the ammunition, because I gave him some Ely ammunition, the ammunition that I was really having problems with. So I'll let you have a look at that picture now. So, where's my pointer? There's my pointer. So you can clearly see light primer strikes
on those, and then you see the primer strikes on those, a big difference. You can clearly see there's a massive difference. So they were the light ones. He's put the new spring in, and they are the good ones.
All right, so it was actually a little bit of video on my phone, and I just took this thing. You can clearly see the difference in the indentations on the primers. So yeah, big difference. So when I went to the range, obviously I didn't have this. I had my 17 Hornet, because I had two. I had a CZ 527 17 Hornet, and I've got the Savage Model 25 17 Hornet. The Savage Model 25 has got the sloppiest bolt. I mean, you can just worse than a Mauser, right? It's a joke, and it's rough. It is rough, and that stupid blade trigger locks up all the time. And you got to recock it, and but you know what? That CZ 527 was like a work of art. It was gorgeous. It had a fantastic trigger, set trigger on it. It was a mini Mauser action. It was just the bee's knees. But you know what? That piece of shit, Savage 25, just outshoots it, and it always has. It's just blitzed it accuracy wise, which is what I was shocked with. I was like, what? Yeah. Anyway, so even with a really crap, with optics completely unsuitable for it. I'm actually waiting. I've got a 10 to 40 coming that I'll put on there. But there's a group of, what was this? This was Winchester. So the Winchester ammo. So I haven't even measured that group. That group's tiny. That group's 0.4. This is 100 meters. Tiny group, 0.42. That was Hornady, Superformance. Cellier and Bellow, 0.42. These 3-shot groups. One of the reasons I was only doing 3-shot groups with it is because the ammo is really, really expensive. It's really, really expensive to make, and as far as comparatively speaking, considering it's such a tiny cartridge, have I got one here? No, I don't. It's a tiny cartridge, but and the other thing is powder. So I made some hand loads. I used AR-2205. Now I don't have a lot of that, so I didn't want to use too much. I've still got a little bit of Unique, and I've still got a little bit of Little Gun, but I want to save those, because God knows when we're going to get Little Gun again, Hodgdon Little Gun, and Unique, who knows, maybe never again. Yeah, but AR-2205, at least it's an Australian made powder, but they're not making it. So again, another, I'm not sure what this one was, 0.42. Regardless of what ammunition I was using, they were pretty much getting the same results. So it's a very, there's one there, 0.36. It's a very forgiving rifle. Like, it is just rough as guts. It is, I tell you, they make fantastic barrels. I have to say that. Savage make fantastic barrels, but the quality and the workmanship of their rifles is just, although I have known an expensive Savage, no doubt it'd be a lot better than the rubbish that they're putting out. So I also had the, what was I shooting? The Prima XP, the Artec Prima XP pump action, which is, at the moment, it's a bit of a hose. So there's PPU, mind you, so ignore those two, they were separate, but that's just hose. There's a hand load of 43 grains of Varget AR-2208 with a 150 grain SST, Sierra Hornady SST, pretty crap. So that's obviously a Hornet hole. But I had 2 rounds go through there, and then those 2 went down there. Explain that. That's 41 grains. That's 41 grains of Varget AR-2208. So I was trying to make some reduced loads to see if that would help with the accuracy. But yeah, 42 grains, rubbish. 41 grains again. sort of, I don't know. I've got to have a look at that bolt. I'm going to disassemble it completely and see if I can tighten up the headspace. I think that's what the problem is. So that was the hand load. That was those 44 grain hand loads that I was using. So that's, yeah, that's not bad. That's from when I was trying to figure out where it was shooting at the start. So that's not a part of it. So that's actually promising. So that's 44 grains. Yeah, that's the ADI ammo, the Australian ammo. Yeah, it really is that thing is really something of a hose. Something's going on with it. Something's not right, and I think it's the headspace. Just quietly, I've got to completely disassemble it, take the head of that bolt out, and just see how much play is in there. If there's a hell of a lot of play, then you really can't do a lot. But you know, play in and out, just see how much headspace there is. Play this way, if it's loose that way, well, what can you do? You know, it can't be too tight locking up because it is a pump action. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see with that one. I'm just going to completely disassemble it, take the bolt out of the carrier, and just have a look at what's going on. Because there's no reason it should be that, the accuracy should be that bad. It shouldn't. 2 inches I'll take, you know. But, yeah. So those were at 100 metres, 110 yards. 2 inches at 100 metres I'll take for a pump action, but, or even 3 inches, but some of those are just way out there, no good. So thankful, but I'm really happy that I've got this back, and that it was a really simple problem, and in fact it was what I thought it was, a shit spring. So, but because of the analysis that I did, which was by using the second bolt, it told me that wasn't the problem, and in fact it was ×2. Both bolts, springs on both bolts were gone. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is take this back out, and I've got tons and tons and tons of ammo. I'm going to take everything out and try it out. I've even got some CCI green tag, and I've never really had much time for CCI ammo. It's always proved to be average, you know, run of the mill, nothing special. And some people just rave about it. Oh no, you know, you get CCI standard and you sort it, and it's fantastic. And I don't know. Unsorted Ely match has always proven to be better than everything else, except in a couple of really finicky rifles that preferred weird shit, like like SK pistol match special out of that CZ557 MTR that I had, which was weird. It still really liked Ely, but that was a weird one. Hopefully this thing really liked RWS. Now I hope that it really likes Ely. Now that I can actually shoot it, because Ely match is my favourite ammo. It's proven to be fantastic out of every gun I've ever had. This barrel, I don't know. Only, you know, time will tell. I won't know until, so it's Wednesday today, so in 2 days time I'll be able to tell you what happened. But what's that goop? So the problem with that is that if it doesn't like Ely and prefers RWS, which it looked like it did, that's a problem. Because RWS ammo is just really hard to get here, where I am anyway. I don't know about the capital cities, but you hardly ever see it, and you only ever see a few boxes of it. SK is a little bit different. Every now and then they do get a big shipment in, and you can buy it in bulk. But even that, you know, SK is better than RWS as far as availability, but yeah, still not much around. So, but yet Ely, for whatever reason, I don't know, the Ely match, typically I can always pick up a brick of it, most of the time. So I think I've got 2 or 3 different batches of it. So yeah, I'll have to wait and see what happens there. But I'm really happy that I've got it back and the problem is sorted. Now, oh yeah, one thing that John the gunsmith said to me, he said, listen, this is right on the limit as far as headspace is concerned. It's as tight as it can possibly be. So whatever you do, don't dry fire it, because you're really going to be smashing that striker into the end of the barrel, end of the breech there. So unlike what I'm usually pretty blasé about dry firing, but considering what he told me and the fact that I really do not want to damage this barrel, and considering the problem that I had with the spring, I don't want to do anything deleterious to it. So I have got, where are they? I've got a bunch of these cheap shit tipped-on snap caps, which, because that spring is so strong now, I tried it out and man, it just puts a massive dent in them. Yeah, they're just cheap shit ones. I'll see if I can get some better ones. Yeah, so I won't be able to tell you what's going on until 2 days' time. So until then, see you later.